their cars, they'll cut the corner, I think it'll make it a bit.
Oh, what, a bit on the corner?
Yeah.
It's for the buses.
What the hot of step up. I say someone tripped over the other day.
You open your eyes, didn't they?
You weren't very happy when you saw me. That's my fault, maybe.
Right. Yeah.
Here he is.
Okay, good evening everyone. Welcome to this meeting of the Planning Committee of Sandwich Town Council. Thank you all for coming. Could we start with apologies for absence?
We have apologies from Councillor Graham, Heaven and Sampson.
But just to be clear, we do have a quorum for this meeting. So
I thought Councillor Sampson had resigned, now the new chap is being...
that has to go to the next council, so it can be formally agreed that Councillor Pennington takes over, or he may wish to go on to other committees. We don't know at this stage, so that's yet to be decided. Yeah. But Councillor Sampson has offered his place on this committee to
Yeah, sure.
council. Okay. Terms of reference. So the terms of reference attached to this agenda. Oh, sorry. Declaration of disclosable pecuniary interests and other significant interests. Anything to declare? Number 3, terms of reference. Just to be clear, the terms of reference attached to this agenda are not quite the same as the terms of reference that were agreed at the council meeting on the 25th of July. There were a couple of proposed amendments that we were talking about with Councillor Sampson, but they haven't been to council as yet. It might well be that they go to the council in January when the new terms of reference are up for review. But at the moment, these terms of reference are slightly different to the ones that have been agreed. The key differences are about the quorum, about the mayor being the deputy chair of this committee, and there was one other thing.
About the chair when you have one vote.
And about the what, sorry?
Just the chair will have an ordinary vote, so what happens if it's at 6-3-3 or something like that? 4-4, I think.
Normally there would be a casting vote.
That's what I'm saying,
Yeah.
It's just an ordinary
But,
vote.
so what we're going to do is bring the correct terms of reference to the next meeting in November. Meanwhile, I think it's worth noting these terms of reference that they will be amended for the next meeting. I think just a couple of things I'd like to raise about terms of reference generally and this new committee which is now meeting. The first one is that it's not just a planning committee that we've had in the past. It has a wider remit to look at other issues. So a couple of the things I would like this committee to look at in the future is the whole issue of neighbourhood planning, and also wider strategic planning issues such as the local plan, which has just been published by Dover District Council. And I note, looking at that today, that there's going to be a 7-week consultation period from the 21st of October onwards. So I think it might be useful if we were to invite someone from DDC to come to this meeting, perhaps as part of their formal consultation process, just to talk to us about some of the issues as they affect Sandwich. I don't know if the committee...
I thought that was going to be the remit of that new committee, the bigger committee. The bigger planning application. This is just two like the Dover District Council, you know, immediate plans for the this committee.
No,
all the main stuff is going to be on that main committee, planning committee.
This is the main planning committee.
No, it's not, is it? It's not. We've got 3 new committees, haven't we? We've got a finance one. I mean, otherwise we're going to get bogged down here, looking at things ahead, aren't we? We do normally come to the full council, so they go district council or planning people. They normally come to the full council.
Yeah, I mean, I'm easy on that.
I think you're extending the remit too much, actually.
They can either be invited to this committee or to the full council. You know, I'll take your guidance on that.
Yeah.
But perhaps we can approach DDC and see if they're prepared to send along an officer to talk to us about the local plan.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we'll see which meeting they can make and
Yeah.
I
decide.
do agree with Councillor Franklin that it is the whole council that has to respond to the local plan.
Yeah.
Therefore, they should all be engaged in its consultation, and we shouldn't try and do it in stages.
Okay.
It should be the full council.
So if the consultation period is 7 weeks from 21st of October, they could either come to the October or November.
Well, we
Council
need to be
meeting.
getting on and looking at it in any event, and it would be very useful to speak to them, if they're willing to come and see us,
Okay.
which is always an issue now.
So is that a proposal, Councillor Fox?
Yeah.
Second. Okay. So we'll invite a DDC senior officer from planning to come and talk
Yeah.
to the council meeting. I think the other thing I just wanted to say about this committee is that we are a statutory consultee with Dover District Council. So we're on a par to some extent with the Highways Agency or Kent County Council. Our role is not to act as a planning authority. We do not make decisions on planning, but we do comment on planning applications. So looking at other parish and town councils, the way they seem to operate is that they submit objections or support for applications. So our commentary on an application could range from strong support, no objections, support objections as strong objections. And then you go on to talk about the detailed reasons for that decision, which usually have to relate to the national planning framework or to local plan policies. So I think that's, in future, that's how we need to deal with applications on this agenda. We're not here to approve or refuse applications.
Are you suggesting that we don't use the words approve and refuse at these meetings?
That's my proposal. Does anyone have any objections to that?
No, I have no particular objections to that, but I do think we need to be very clear that if, for example, we have a large application in that we know is going to be very unpopular, it's very clear that we are against it as a town council.
Strongly object.
So we strongly
Very
object.
strongly object.
Yeah,
because,
and then
we
give the
don't want to
reasons.
be in a position where we're accused of kind of not doing enough to human nurseries, where in fact the council did object all the time, but as statutory consultee, they don't often take much notice of us, and that's another issue that must be made clear. Although they're statutory consultee, Dover District Council is not obliged to take our views on board. They can ride over them, and they often do.
They absolutely often do, but they have a duty to take account of our views, and if we've come up with strong planning arguments against or for a certain application, then they have a duty to look at that. Okay, shall we move on for public right to speak? A 15-minute session is set aside at this stage of the meeting to enable members of the public to speak. Written notice of the desire to exercise the right to speak and of the topic to be addressed must be given to the town clerk prior to 9 AM on the Monday before the meeting. Do we have anyone who wishes to speak? No. Okay. Number 5, planning applications. Application plans and papers may be viewed via the Dover District Council website. Use of a computer in the town clerk's office is possible by arrangement. Number 1, reference 22/01164. Location East Kent Car Road Company Waiting Room, Capel Market, Sandwich, CT13 9AE. Proposal, installation of bespoke secondary frameless glass doors.
So we've got to say now, we support this proposal.
Any comments on this, Councillor?
Yeah, I think it's going a bit too far, I'd like to say, on this. I'm not saying that I object to it, but I would say that I don't think this is a very good option. I think it's a heritage building, it's grade 2 listed. It's built in 1925 as a waiting room, and it's been, I think it's like this phrase that goes, silk's purse out the sow's ear. So I think it's too much. I think the heritage of the town, we're redoing the whole of the Guildhall forecourt, to give a better heritage, to give a better image to visitors that are coming in. And then the doors that I saw online, glass doors, the sort of glass doors that you get at Westwood Cross. So I would object against this, would be my proposal to object, because I think it's totally wrong. It's a grade 2 listed building, and don't think it should have the doors, glass doors at all. It's going to make it more like a commercial shop. So there's lots of other options. So.
Are they doing away with the actual main doors, or they just? I can't see any harm in it myself, because I do use the place, and in the winter it can be really freezing in there. And if you shut the main doors, you won't see, will you? It looks like it's closed. So I actually support the application.
I too support the application. It does say secondary, so they're not inside. It's not going to damage the building. What other kind of secondary glazing do you propose to put in to keep the place warm? And even if it's still a waiting room, it would be nice if it were warm.
Yeah.
So I have no objections at
I
all.
mean, they've got glass doors on St Peter's Church, but they're shut. They don't affect the characters of St Peter's Church.
Yeah,
do they?
that's true. Any other comments? I think my couple of observations. One, the waiting room I think has been a big success.
Yeah, and so-
Two, we have to separate the applicant from other applications in the town, so we have to treat this entirely on its own merits. Three, I'm assuming that the doors open inwards. Is that?
Imagine they will slide.
On the plan, it
No,
showed them
they-
opening outwards.
It shows them
Okay.
on hinges.
Opening outwards. Yeah.
They're only open to be closed. They won't be out all the time. They'll be on hinges. You know what I mean? That's the idea. To keep the building warm, isn't it? That's the idea. So it's not open all the time.
It says on the plans here, there's looking at the drawings now, it says that they're the swings, they swing both
Yeah,
ways.
swing doors.
Swing both ways. But they're not going to be left open with the doors out.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a grade 2 listed building, so anything that detracts from the exterior appearance
Yeah, it says here, proposed
would be detrimental.
secondary frame of glass sits within existing frame, existing doors are not changing. So it means it's
Yeah,
gonna
the
be
existing doors stay.
So,
So this is purely to allow light in during the winter, but retain the heat within the interior of the building.
Or close the existing doors.
Yeah, but you can close them, wouldn't it? If the doors are shut, you wouldn't go in, would you?
That's what other businesses have to do,
Got
don't they?
big wooden doors.
That's,
Anyway, I'm for it.
Do we have a proposal?
Yeah.
Councillor Franklin is
In support.
support this application.
I'll second Councillor Franklin.
Okay, all those in favour? I think on balance I support it.
I was against for heritage reasons.
So Councillor Franklin against. For heritage reasons.
No. We kept the cards in
Councillor,
red.
sorry.
I'm voting
Councillor
for
Carter
it.
against. Okay. So next one, number 2, reference 22011124. Location 74 St Oswald's, Flat 3, New Street, Sandwich, CT 13 9BD. Proposal installation of helibar reinforcement in external walls, replacement of cracked bricks and minor repointing, installation of internal metal restraint straps within roof space to west gable. Any comments on this one?
Strongly support.
Oh yeah, I was going to say, yeah, I'll second that. Yeah, this is work.
Essential maintenance work for the.
Well, it's structural actually, so it's structural work that's required.
And it's
So we don't
barely
do this.
visible from New Street.
Exactly, yeah, it's not visible, so it is grade 2 listed, I noted, but they've consulted with the neighbours about it, so it's required.
Any other comments? So we have a proposal from Councillor Morehouse, strongly support as essential works, seconded by Councillor Carter. All those in favour? Okay, that's unanimous. Thank you. Street furniture application. To receive and consider any applications made to DDC in relation to a street furniture consent application under the Local Government Miscellaneous Provisions Act 1982. Nothing. The one for the Happy Place Cafe, I think, went through at the last meeting. There's been none since then. I think there's one outstanding from Aussies, isn't there? No, okay. 7, licensing. To consider any licensing notices and issues received from Dover District Council. None. Enforcement. Number 8. To consider any enforcement notices and issues received from Dover District Council. None. Do we have any updates on the 2 porta cabins?
I'd ask the same question.
Or the Sid's ice cream parlour, or the limes on New Street?
Just wait for the officers, aren't we?
Okay. I think going back to the earlier discussion about inviting DDC to a council meeting, we should also be raising issues about enforcement with what's happening with some of these long-standing fellowship walk, etc.
I thought we did that via our representative.
If Sandwich Town Council decides they'd like to invite me again to planning meetings, then I'll start attending as a Dover District Council rep. At the moment, Sandwich Town Council are inviting a district councillor. They haven't determined who that is yet, so
I propose that we do invite a Dover District Councillor
it's not on the agenda.
to the meeting if they're so pleased to attend.
Mm-hmm. Is that agreed?
Yeah.
Okay. Agreed. It's not on the agenda, so we have to bring it to the next agenda. And also co-optees, because the town team have not yet responded. John Hennessy is here for the History Society, and we're not sure what's happening with the Chamber of Commerce, so that can come to the next meeting. Number 8, correspondence. To receive and consider correspondence, notification of any appeals against refusal of a householder application. Decisions. To note that Dover District Council's planning decisions have been emailed to the committee as and when received. Everyone seen those? Okay. Number 10, date and time of next meeting, Wednesday 9th of November 2022 at 6:30 p.m. Can we do any other business? Should we do any other business?
Can't, it's not lawful.
Non-standing, never happened.
Hmm?